There was an in-depth piece, like a behind-the-scenes piece, talking about how they've been in a full meltdown about this girl for a couple of years now.
That said, our primary purpose is to entertain, and where we can entertain responsibly, obviously, we try to do that. We try to have a positive impact on the world. But the first thing we need to do is entertain.
AMC dropping Disney's live-action Snow White sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Nobody saw it coming. Not like this. Disney had hyped this movie as a surefire hit, banking on the fame of the original tale and the big names attached. But then, AMC slammed the brakes, saying there was no point in keeping it on the big screen anymore. Ticket sales had fallen off a cliff so badly, they were just bleeding cash letting it play. Theaters sat nearly empty while other blockbusters were pulling. Crowds. This flop didn't happen overnight. It had been slipping for weeks. But even with warning signs, no one thought it had crashed this hard. Not even Disney, with all its power, money, and world-class marketing, could keep this sinking ship afloat. The live TV blunders, whispers of behind-the-scenes drama, and cast chaos all piled up, and fans weren't having it. The backlash got louder, meaner, and downright unstoppable. Disney had promised a bold new spin on the classic starring rising actress Rachel Zegler and A-list celeb Gal Gadot. Sounds like a slam dunk, right? But everything that could possibly go wrong did. AMC's move to yank it early was a bombshell. This kind of thing never happens. Film insiders scrambled, trying to make sense of the disaster. Our rights are on the line, some warned. Some blamed Disney's endless reboots, saying people were just over it. Others pointed fingers at Rachel Zegler. Her blunt interviews and bold opinions didn't land well with everyone. Add in Disney's stiff, awkward PR moves, and boom, fans bailed. Whatever the real trigger was, the ending's the same. A total wipeout at the box office, made even worse by a tidal wave of bad press. AMC simply couldn't afford to let it drag on. Now, what started as a fairy tale comeback turned into a full-blown cautionary tale. Studios are watching this one very closely. Even Joe Rogan broke it all down in a fiery segment on his hit podcast. He didn't hold back. Rogan didn't just talk numbers. He called AMC's decision a cultural moment. This wasn't just about a flop at the box office. It was proof that even Disney's go-to playbook, brand power, A-list stars, slick marketing, wasn't bulletproof anymore. The chaos surrounding Snow White had drowned out anything good about the film. Rogan laid out the full mess, from Rachel Zegler's no-filter interviews to her controversial comments on The View and those infamous social media posts that clashed hard with Disney's squeaky-clean vibe. And then came the meltdown, right there live, with a studio audience watching. Every second, what was meant to be a routine press stop turned into headline chaos. Rogan said this kind of PR disaster would have been bad enough on its own, but paired with the controversial changes to the story, it was a total recipe for disaster. At first, Rachel Zegler seemed like a bold choice for the role. She could sing, had that Gen Z edge, and seemed like the perfect bridge between old-school fans and a new generation. But as leaks rolled out, fans started realizing just how much the story had been tampered with. Plot points were dropped, characters were changed, key themes stripped down or tossed completely. People didn't take it lightly. The shift from heartfelt classic to modern remix left fans scratching their heads. Had Disney gone too far this time? And just as the tension started building, Rachel's own words threw gas on the fire. Some of her takes came off like she was brushing off the original story, acting like it didn't matter anymore. Whether she meant it or not, fans definitely took it that way. The reaction was brutal. Social media exploded with angry takes and disappointment. Instead of being seen as the fresh energy the film needed, Rachel suddenly became the face of everything fans thought had gone wrong. Everything that could fall apart with this adaptation did. To be fair, Disney tried to do damage control. They lined up a whole series of talk show appearances, hoping to clean up the film's image before opening. Weekend! But instead of calming the storm, things got messier fast. Rachel Zegler's strong-willed approach clashed hard with Disney's attempts to keep the narrative tight. She kept posting her own opinions online, saying straight up she wasn't about to water down her values to please a corporation. In another setting, that kind of honesty might have earned her props, but not this time. Fans were already protective over the original Snow White, and this bold stance just stirred the pot even more. Critics felt her tone came off as snobby toward fans of the classic film. Supporters clapped back, saying she was just pushing for modern ideas and better representation. Still, the real drama wasn't just about the movie anymore. It was about the growing clash between an unfiltered star and the mega company behind her. Instead of people talking about costumes, music, or visuals, everyone was locked in on the feud. And as buzz around the movie's weak box office kept growing, insiders whispered Disney's higher-ups were stressing hard. Bob Iger, who'd just stepped back into his CEO role, was known for handling corporate messes like a pro. But this time, the studio looked scrambled. Their crisis strategy felt all over the place. Fans were hearing mixed signals from different cast members. There were whispers of drama backstage, and it started to feel like no one at Disney had a real grip on how bad things had gotten. The meltdown on The View was the clearest sign. That show had been handpicked by Disney's PR team. It was supposed to be a chill daytime talk, a safe space. The plan? Let Rachel explain herself, show she respected the original, and calm the noise. But behind the scenes, tension was sky high. Disney had reportedly sent detailed notes to The View's staff. Talking points Rachel should hit, stuff to avoid, the whole script. But once the cameras rolled, it was clear Rachel had other plans. She veered straight into political territory, barely touched the film, and definitely wasn't reading the studio's lines. Producers scrambled to reel it back in, but the damage was done. The tension was impossible to ignore during the live broadcast. Rachel Zegler made comments critics later blasted as explosive, claiming the original Snow White was outdated and fans stuck in the past needed to embrace change. For viewers already unsure about the remake, it felt like a slap in the face. Social media lit up instantly, flooded with fury and frustration. Then came the real explosion. According to people on set, chaos broke out behind the scenes. Producers were seen frantically waving, trying to shut her down or shift the convo, but Rachel wasn't budging. She doubled down, digging in even harder on her points. The whole segment spun out of control. The View's co-hosts, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, and Sunny Hostin, scrambled to salvage the moment, but it was too late. Security or staff reportedly had to step in and quietly escort Rachel off the set. Viewers were suddenly hit with an abrupt commercial break. The worst part? Even though the full meltdown didn't officially air, it didn't matter. Snippets, leaks, and eyewitness accounts spread online like wildfire. Memes exploded. Jokes flew. The outrage owned the internet. From that point forward, every conversation about Snow White circled back to that out-of-control live moment. Joe Rogan called it exactly what it was: a full-blown PR nightmare. Disney didn't just lose the narrative, they lost it live, in front of a massive audience. Disney jumped into damage control mode, but it was too late. The meltdown became a rallying cry for critics who believed this version of Snow White had gone too far. To them, Rachel's defiance was proof she wasn't the right fit, someone too bold for a project that needed at least a little cooperation with the studio machine. But her fans backed her hard, saying she had every right to speak her truth. The drama exploded across the media landscape, leaving the rest of the cast, especially Gal Gadot, completely sidelined. Gadot had been brought on to anchor the project, with some seasoned Hollywood shine, but the meltdown buried any buzz about her role. Suddenly, no one was talking about her performance, only the controversy. Rumors swirled that Rachel may have criticized Gal's background or beliefs in private, though nothing was confirmed. Still, the whispers added fuel to the fire, making the whole production look like a hotbed of drama. Gadot played it safe, giving bland, cheerful statements about being excited for the movie, clearly steering clear of the mess. Some insiders said she was just protecting her brand, but by then, the upbeat United Front Disney had dreamed of, it was gone. The promo campaign had been hijacked by rumors, clashing egos, and non-stop speculation about where each cast member stood. The backlash from fans hit like a freight train. Social media blew up with waves of "Not My Snow White" posts. People were mad, and they weren't shy about it. Some felt let down that the movie had ditched everything they loved about the classic. Others were annoyed at how Rachel Zegler came across, especially when it seemed like she was brushing off old-school Disney magic. That frustration spilled into theaters hard. Opening weekend numbers were a disaster. Even though Disney had dropped major cash on ads, the movie couldn't even hit the low-end expectations. Theater chains like AMC, which had cleared out space expecting a box office smash, ended up showing the film to half-empty rooms. Families skipped it altogether. Parents didn't want to deal with controversy, or they'd been turned off by the non-stop drama making headlines. Once the poor sales became impossible to ignore, AMC had a choice to make. Normally, a big Disney release is a guaranteed moneymaker. But with the bad press piling on, AMC saw the writing on the wall. Ticket sales were so weak, it made more sense to yank the film and replace it with something safer. The movie had become toxic, so wrapped up in scandal that even its flashy budget couldn't save it. That's when AMC made a move that shocked the industry. They pulled the film entirely. Region by region, showings vanished, and soon AMC's official channels confirmed it. They were done. When asked why, AMC execs didn't sugarcoat it. The movie wasn't pulling its weight. Behind closed doors, theater managers had been reporting the same thing: rows of empty seats and customers walking past Snow White posters without even glancing. Some even said people in lobbies called the movie cringe or weird ever since. That meltdown clip went viral. It was everywhere. The drama had gotten so big, so mainstream, AMC had no choice but to cut it loose. Rumors flew. Was this the beginning of a rift between AMC and Disney? Some insiders thought so. Others whispered, Disney might have been secretly on board. If the movie was already flopping, why drag out the embarrassment? Better to take the hit and move on. Joe Rogan called this moment a game changer. He said it wasn't just about AMC rearranging its schedule, it was a warning. Even the biggest players can fall. The tight bond between Disney and top theaters, TT, suddenly looked shaky. If a film brings too much heat and not enough cash, it can get pulled no matter how much it cost to make. Rogan kept circling back to that infamous meltdown on The View. He said that was the tipping point. Before that, some folks still thought the film might attract curious viewers or families unaware of the drama. But once those meltdown clips spread, and all the messy rumors along with them, whatever interest was left dried up fast. That moment stripped away the illusion that everything was fine and replaced it with full-blown chaos. The meltdown didn't just expose drama. It revealed a production already on the edge. It turned into a warning for every major studio. Live interviews are a gamble. Usually, promo tours are tightly choreographed. Stars stick to the script, repeat polished talking points, and keep the brand looking clean. But The View? That was live, raw, and unscripted, and it blew the whole plan to pieces. Once Rachel Zegler chose to speak her mind, the handlers were powerless. They tried to steer it back, but the crash was already in motion, and the impact hit everywhere. The entertainment world couldn't look away, and when Disney started clamping down, it only made them look more panicked. It gave off serious damage control vibes and made people wonder if they were trying to shut down Real Talk just to protect their brand. Mix a messy reboot with one explosive live TV moment, and you get a PR nightmare you can't spin away. When AMC dropped Snow White, that was it. Not the premiere, not the performances. The cancellation became the story everyone remembers. This wasn't just a flop. It was a full-on crash, and it changed the game. Studios will now think twice about how they handle stars, classics, and fan loyalty. Nobody wants to be the next Snow White disaster. If you liked this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and tell us, what do you think killed Snow White? Catch you in the next one.